Hello, I'm Helen Bradley. Welcome to this video tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can fix photos that you haven't shot face on. So if you've only been able to capture a building, for example, taken from the side, then I'm going to show you how you can fix it to square everything up. Before we get started with the fix, let's have a look and see what problem it is that we're trying to solve. This is the original photograph that I shot in Siena in Italy, and these little altars are pretty much everywhere around Italy, but sometimes it's difficult to get to them face on, and for this particular image that's just the case. I couldn't shoot it face on. And I'm also looking up at it because it's up on a wall. So this is the after for this image. I'm able to straighten up the image and to correct some of the distortion so that I have a more pleasing result. I've got another example here that we're going to work on. This again is another window from a building in Italy, and this is the kind of solution that we're able to achieve in Lightroom. So now we've seen what we're going to achieve, let's go and get started with the effect. Now there are a couple of tricks to this effect, and the first one is that most of the tools that you want to be using are in the lens correction panel in Lightroom. So you'll open your image up in the develop module and then go to the lens correction panel, and you want manual because this is a fix that's well beyond any automatic solution. Now there's a grid that appears when you hover over your image with these tools. If your grid's not showing, make sure that you have show grid set to auto, and you want to be seeing the full size of your photo. Now to start off with, there's two adjustments we need to make here. Firstly, we haven't shot this directly straight on, and secondly, we're looking up at it. So we're going to be able to solve the looking up at it part of it by adjusting the vertical dimension. So I'm just going to tip the image forward a little bit. And I'm going to ignore the fact that a lot of this has just disappeared off the top of the screen because we're going to get that back in a minute. And now we want to adjust the horizontal because we want to rotate it around so that it's facing us a little bit better, as if we had shot it face on. Now, having achieved the sort of look of being face on, now we're at an angle, so I'm going to adjust the rotation of the image to straighten that up. Now we're going to get into a little bit of trouble if we click on Constrain Crop right now, because we've lost some of the image off the top. We've lost the top of the arch, and also things are looking a little bit skew. So Aspect is going to help us solve this, because with Aspect we can stretch things out a little bit. At this point you may want to go and check the before just to see the sort of dimensions of the window, and then come back and see if you're getting what you want. Now also I'm concerned that the top of the arch has disappeared here, and we can get that back by adjusting scale. And scale is going to be a really important setting for you, because Lightroom has a tendency to knock the top of your image off. So you'll probably want to come in here with scale and just make sure that everything that you want to see of this image you can actually see. And at this point we might also continue to work on the aspect ratio. I think I would like this to be a little bit wider. And then if I'm happy with that, the temptation generally is to click Constrain Crop. Now that's going to be an unmitigated disaster for this image, because what it does is it just crops everything off and we've lost the bottom of our image. So I'm just going to press Ctrl Z to undo that. I'm going to leave the lens correction tool now, and I'm just going to the crop tool because it's going to be a lot easier and safer for me to crop this image myself rather than use that constrain option, because Lightroom just doesn't seem to protect the top of your image quite as well as you might want it to. So I'm going to click done now, and let's go and have a look at the before and the after. Well, this is the before, but we can't see it all because Lightroom is insisting on knocking the bottom of it off, but we can see the distortion, and this is the after. Now let's go back to this image, and this is the before and this is the after. So I'm just going to go back to the before. I'm going to wind this all the way back to how it was out of the camera, and we're going to adjust it again using the lens correction tool. We'll want to use the horizontal for this one quite a bit because this has really not been shot face on at all. And then I'm going to adjust the vertical to square that up. You can see that we're twisting the image quite a lot in doing this, and You may need to work between these two settings to get something that is appropriate for your image. Going to look at the aspect ratio. I think this needs to be squeezed just a little bit. And I'm also going to adjust the scale because I don't want to lose the top off this image right now. We can also look at rotating it, although I don't think it needs a lot of rotation. But once I'm happy with what I'm seeing there, again, I'm going to avoid clicking Constrain Crop and go and crop this myself because I can do a better job than Lightroom at this point. I'm just going to bring it up here from the bottom and click Done. So there are now two images that we've been able to improve in Lightroom. This one, before and after, and this one, which is roughly the before that we were looking at, and this is the after, squared up, a lot more attractive an image. I'm Helen Bradley. Thank you for joining me for this video tutorial. Look out for more video tutorials here on my YouTube channel. And consider subscribing to my channel and you'll be alerted when new videos are released. And visit my website at projectwoman.com where you'll find more tips, tricks and tutorials on a range of applications including Photoshop, Lightroom, Illustrator and a whole lot more.